The topic that I decided to write about was with regard to something that you hear Islamophobes often bring up, whether it be in Facebook comments or on YouTube. It's usually the number one thing you see whenever somebody wants to criticize Islam. And it's the Prophet Muhammad's marriage to Aisha, mother of believers. So I'm sure you all understand what I'm talking about. I'm sure you've seen a lot of the vulgarity addressed towards our Prophet and the mother of believers in these comments, and I'm sure it's all made you very, very uncomfortable. And likewise, it's made me very uncomfortable. It's made me very emotional, and that was one of my primary motivations for actually writing about this topic. Not only do Muslims, part of our faith is that we should respect and love the Prophet, but also his family members. And whenever you hear something bad about your family member, you can't help but feel vulnerable and feel upset and feel, just feel like your world has been shattered in some way. And you want to respond to those allegations. You want to protect your family members, those that you love. And our responses are primarily driven by that love and by that sensitivity and by by the insults that completely undermine the respect and dignity of those we care about. So I would say that was my primary motivation for addressing this topic. The other motivation, though, is more practical in the sense that this is probably the number one criticism that you hear against Islam in the contemporary period. And I feel like it hasn't been adequately addressed. Now, personally, when I first saw this criticism, because I'm a convert to Islam, so I mean, this is one of the things that I actually saw, one of the first things I saw when I came to Islam from its critics was regarding this issue. And it actually didn't bother me in the sense of, academically speaking. It didn't bother me in the sense of like putting any doubts in my mind, to be honest with you, because I had read a lot of history and a lot of scientific journals on anthropology, and I had studied morality to a great extent, during my philosophy grad education. So for me, it wasn't difficult to understand why people married early. In the past, primarily due to the fact that, mortality rates were much higher, people had much more simple lives, death was an ever-present reality, and people had to prepare for that. So in the past, marrying early was quite normal because, when you live in a society where life is so unexpected and death is so unexpected, you have to prepare as early as possible. In today's world, we have so many options. In today's world, we have so many conveniences where childhood can be extended for as long as we want, even until our 20s, where we don't have to worry so much. But back then, that wasn't the case. Back then, they had to prepare for life much earlier so that future generations could have this life. Because, in all honesty, we wouldn't even be here today had our ancestors not made those sacrifices, had not made those decisions that they did. Morality doesn't change. It's always wrong to murder, it's always wrong to steal, and it's always wrong to abuse and to take advantage of children. But what does change are the conditions of humanity. And I think we have such a limited understanding of morality today that we don't comprehend the difficulties of the past and why certain things were actually moral. And that's what my paper attempts to address in the most comprehensive way possible. And my paper is not the only one. There's actually a collection of papers on this particular issue. And I think that Yaqeen Institute has gone to great lengths to provide not only the most comprehensive answer, but the definitive answer to this issue. And I hope that despite being such a sensitive topic, despite being such a controversial issue, that inshallah you benefit from this, and that not only strengthens your yaqeen, but future generations to come. جزاك الله خير. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.